Hi guys, Movie Dive here. Today we are going to take a look at the recently released Netflix film All Quiet on the Western Front. The movie begins in spring 1917, 3 years into the First World War. 17-year-old Paul Baumer enlists in the Imperial German Army alongside his school friends, Albert Kropp, Franz Müller and Ludwig Bem. They listen to a patriotic speech by a school official and unknowingly receive uniforms from soldiers killed in a previous battle. After they are deployed in northern France near La Malmaison, they are befriended by Stanislaus Kaczynski, an older soldier. Their romantic view of the war is shattered by the realities of trench warfare on the Western Front, and Ludwig is killed by artillery the first night. On November 7, 1918, German official Matthias Erzberger, weary of mounting losses, meets with German High Command to persuade them to begin armistice talks with the Allied powers. Meanwhile, Paul and Kat steal a goose from a farm to share with Albert, Franz, and another veteran, Jaden Stackfleet, with whom they have grown close behind the front in Champagne. Kat gets Paul to read him a letter from his wife and worries that he cannot reintegrate into peacetime society. Franz spends the night with a French woman and brings back her scarf as a souvenir. On the morning of November 9, General Friedrichs drives Erzberger and the German delegation to a train bound for the forest of Compiègne to negotiate a ceasefire. Paul and his friends go on a mission to find missing recruits sent to reinforce their unit and discover that they were killed by gas after taking off their masks too soon. Friedrichs, who opposes the talks, orders an attack before French reinforcements arrive. That night, Erzberger's delegation reaches the forest of Compiègne and Paul's regiment is sent to the front to prepare to attack the French lines. On the morning of November 10, Ferdinand Foch, the Supreme Allied Commander, gives 72 hours for the Germans to accept the Allied terms, with no room for negotiation. Meanwhile, the German attack takes the French front line after hand-to-hand fighting, but is routed by a combined arms counterattack with Saint-Chamond tanks, airplanes, and flamethrowers. Franz is separated from the group and Albert is killed trying to surrender. Trapped in a crater in no man's land with a French soldier, Paul stabs him and has to watch his slow and painful death. Erzberger learns of Kaiser Wilhelm II's abdication and receives instructions in the evening from Field Marshal Paul von Hindenburg to accept the Allied terms. Paul returns to his unit and sees them celebrating the imminent end of the war. He finds a wounded Jaden, who gives him Franz's scarf. Paul and Kat bring him food, but Jaden, distraught at being crippled, kills himself. Around 5 a.m. on November 11, Erzberger's delegation signs the armistice, which is set to take effect at 11 a.m. After learning of the armistice, Paul and Kat steal from the farm one last time, but Kat is shot by the farmer's young son and dies as Paul carries him to the hospital. Friedrichs wants to end the war with a German victory and orders an attack to start at 10. A despondent Paul kills many French soldiers before being bayoneted through the chest seconds before 11, when the fighting stops and the front falls silent. A short time later, a newly arrived German recruit that Paul had saved in the fighting finds Paul's mud-caked body and collects his dog tag and scarf. All Quiet on the Western Front is state-of-the-art in shoving you into the realistic-seeming carnage and possibly inducing hearing damage in laying on the excellent oral experience of a firefight. The in-the-trenches tracking shots are one of the highlights of the movie and show the true horrors of trench warfare. The movie has been adapted to newer methods of cinematography. It is definitely recommended to the fans of historic war films. If you like these sorts of videos, do like and subscribe for more. See you again in the next one.